for us. What are your thoughts on the backlash Sia got from the trailer for her upcoming movie about an autistic teenager who is played by someone neurotypical, and the way she reacted to everyone's criticism? Do you think the representation of autism in media is awfully minimal and needs to be represented better, and have autistic actors play the role of autistic characters? So do you guys know about this?
Yes, I do. So I've been paying attention to her for a while, and I actually had this movie on my watch list before this controversy because I was like, "Oh, Sia's directing a movie. Might as well check this shit out." And so, yeah, I didn't read every single comment in this Twitter feud that's happening, but the gist of it is basically she releases her trailer. Some people on the internet, because it's Twitter especially, get really mad that there's someone who's playing a neuroatypical person who might not be neuroatypical in the movie. I think some mentioned like, oh, you should have at least had like some of the proceeds of the film going to like some autism charity or something. I don't really know. People are mad. But what makes it more of a news story, I guess, what makes it more interesting is how she responded, because it's very clear to me that Sia did not have negative intentions making this film. She did not, make the film to mock autistic people or neuroatypical people or make, she wasn't doing anything with bad intentions. And so she gets this dose of internet cancer reality thrown her way, and this might be the first time she's dealing with like this much of a backlash about something, because otherwise what would people dogpile her for before this, right? And so with her experiencing this seemingly for the first time, despite her being a celebrity, she's also a real fucking person. And so her responses were seen as inappropriate in some ways and like out of touch and a little I don't know, flippant, appropriate in some ways and like out of touch and a little I don't know, flippant or passive aggressive. So basically one of the comments that she got was like, well, how come you didn't cast like a atypical person? I'm autistic, and I responded to the tweet casting notice or whatever on Twitter, so I should have been in the movie. And then Sia's response was, well, maybe you're just not a very good actor. I thought, and it's rude, and I can understand people getting really upset about that, but it's so funny to me. It is the funniest thing in the world. Come on, try to pretend like that's not like hilarious. Try to pretend like that's not the funniest fucking thing. I get it. It's super rude, but it's the funniest fucking thing in the world. And into the tweet, casting notice or whatever on Twitter. Like you can't not laugh at it and then see it.
She was working with Autism Speaks for the movie, a group that wants to sterilize autistic people.
So what is this group that wants to sterilize autistic people? Autism Speaks? See, like I wasn't aware of whatever you're talking about right now. What is this thing? Should I look into it? Like, what's the controversy here? All right, Wikipedia page. Controversies. View of autism as a disease. This disease has taken our children away. It's time to get them back. This is a view that many, but not all autism scientists would endorse. In contrast, some autistic activists have promoted the idea of neurodiversity and the social model of disability, asserting that people with autism are different but not diseased. So just because she works with an organization, like, I don't know what that means, works with, right? Did she get funding from them? Did she consult with them? We don't really know. Maybe she Google searched, what is some autism charity or something, and then just went with, like, oh, this is an autism charity. Like, I don't know if... The impression that I get from Sia's film is definitely not, let's exterminate autistic people. That's definitely not the impression that I get. So even if she technically worked with, whatever that means, even if she technically worked with that organization to make the film, I'm still not considering that to be like a negative thing on her behalf. She might just be incredibly ignorant. But we'll see. I'm about to watch this fucking trailer. I am autism.
I am autism. I'm visible in your children. But if I can help it, I am invisible to you until it's too late.
Oh, this is like anti-gay shit
and guess
in the
what?
50s.
I live there too.
Oh, this is identical to anti-gay shit in the
I know
50s.
no color barrier, no religion, no morality, no currency.
This is literally the same thing.
I speak your language fluently, and with every voice I take away, I acquire yet another language.
What?
I work very quickly. I work faster than pediatric AIDS, cancer, and diabetes combined. And if you are happily married,
there's no way.
I will make sure that your marriage fails.
Is this real?
Your money will fall into my hands, and I will bankrupt you for my own
This is so funny.
I don't sleep, so I make sure you don't either. I will make it virtually impossible for your family to easily attend a temple, a birthday party, a public park, without a struggle, without embarrassment.
What are you talking about?
Pain. You have no cure for me. Your scientists don't have the resources,
is so funny.
and I relish their desperation. Your neighbors are happier to pretend that I don't exist, of course, until it's their child. I am autism. I have no interest in right or wrong. I derive great pleasure out of your loneliness. I will fight to take away your hope.
Wait. Hold on. Pausing. I heard roneliness instead of loneliness. We're going back to 1 minute and 10-second mark for the highlight here.
Your neighbors are happier to pretend that I don't exist, of course, until it's their child. I am autism. I have no interest in right or wrong. I derive great pleasure out of your loneliness.
Okay,
I will fight to take away your hope. I will plot to rob you of your children and your dreams. I will make sure that every day you wake up, you will cry, wondering who will take care of my child after I die. And the truth is, I am still winning, and you are scared. And you should be. I am autism. You ignored me. That was
the sound effects of echoey crying babies in the background is so funny. It's like fucking Silent Hill.
And to autism I say,
I am a father,
a mother, a grandparent,
a brother,
a sister.
We will spend every waking hour trying to weaken you.
We don't need sleep because we will not rest until you do.
This can't be real.
Family can
when
be
was
much
this
stronger
made?
than autism ever anticipated, and we will not be intimidated by you, nor will the love and strength of my community.
I am a parent riding towards you, and you can push me off this horse time and time again, but I will get up, climb back on, and ride on with the message.
Autism, you forget who we are. You forget who you are dealing with. You forget the spirit of mothers and daughters and fathers and sons.
We are
the United Kingdom.
We are the United States.
We are Argentina.
We are Russia.
We are the European Union.
We are the United Nations.
We are coming together in all climates.
We call on all faiths.
We search with technology
and voodoo,
prayer and herbs, genetic studies,
and a
prayer and herbs
you never anticipated.
We have had challenges.
Prayer and
we are
herbs?
the best when overcoming them.
We speak the only language that matters: love for our children.
Our capacity to love is greater than your capacity to overwhelm. Autism is naive.
You are alone.
We are a community of warriors.
We have a voice.
You think because some of our children cannot speak, we cannot hear them? That is autism's weakness.
You think that because my child lives behind a wall, I am afraid to knock it down with my bare hands?
You have not properly been introduced to this community of parents and grandparents, of siblings and friends and school teachers, therapists, pediatricians and scientists.
Autism, if you are not scared, you should be.
When you came for my child, you forgot.
You came for me.
Autism, are you listening?
That's so good! That's awesome! That's hilarious! Okay, that can't be real, right? Okay, hold on. Let's see. I need to do some research here. What is that? Why? What year was that made? Okay, so this is it, but like what year was... Okay, it's called I Am Autism. Is it like that should have its own Wikipedia page? That commercial should have its own Wikipedia page. Okay. 2009, according to the Washington Post. Works faster than pediatric AIDS. What do you mean? It ensures that marriages will fail and financial ruin will ensue, and that it will rob parents of their children and dreams. This is so insane. Holy shit. All right, so now I have to look at the SIA shit. Okay, all right. So I'm not incorrect about Sia. Autism Speaks came on board long after the film was finished. 4 years, in fact. I had no idea it was such a polarizing group. Quote, Sia, November 20th of this year. So a week ago. That's what she's saying anyway. I'm willing to take her word for it. Because, okay, like, if Sia consulted a terrible organization for autistic people that pretends to be good for autistic people, whether or not it was before or after the film was made, I'm willing to take her word for it that it was after the film was made. Even if it was before. The trailer for her film clearly doesn't read like, I think autism is worse than AIDS and it will destroy your family. That's clearly not what the trailer of the film looks like, right? So I don't understand why people are using that as ammo against her, right? Yeah, so people can be like in support of PETA if they don't know about PETA, right? Because the general consensus is like, if you haven't looked into it, it's like, oh, PETA's a good organization. They protect animals, right? And if you don't know about the fact that they like euthanize more animals than they save, sort of thing, and that they're, you know, really immoral in general. But, you know, there's a lot of organizations out there that are just like counterintuitive and more harmful than they are good. And so someone who's making a film, let's say it's an animal rights film, let's say it's a movie about autistic people, like, you can have perfect intentions going into the film and then be like, oh yeah, let's consult this organization. Or maybe Sia didn't even come up with that idea. Maybe it was one of her 12 producers. Maybe it was somebody behind like the studio. Like, she's in fucking big money town business, right? She's not this isn't an indie film. She's not the only person involved in this, right? There's got to be other people that are like, you know, nudging her in some direction or making suggestions or, you know, publicists or agents or managers and like all this, you know, studio executives, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's a whole wealth of people that can be giving advice for this sort of thing and just have terrible advice that, you know, whether or not it's in Sia's control, she might think like, oh, that's a good idea and not have looked into it. And if she's saying publicly on Twitter, like, I didn't know that they were such a controversial or divisive or evil organization, I forget the word. If she's saying that on Twitter, like, I see no reason to not believe her. Like, I'm defending her right now because the movie's not out. And even with the trailer that exists, even though it seems like dated and a bit out of touch and like maybe a tad exploitative, there's nothing about what she made that gives me the impression that she had malicious intent. There's nothing about what she made that gives me the impression that she dislikes or views autistic people as like lesser human beings, or that she wants them to like be cured or eradicated or anything like that. Like, there's nothing about what she made that says that. That's my issue. That's where I'm coming from on this controversy. This came up recommended in that video, what, the Autism Speaks thing? This is a classic. I don't even remember where this is from. Yeah, simpler times. Much simpler times. Optics-wise, it's so like I'm fully expecting at this point. So this Sardonicast episode is going to be released publicly on Monday. It's Friday right now. So I'm fully expecting there will be comments of people saying that I didn't address that she was working with Autism Speaks. So Salamancer, if you're going to make a highlight of this, just get that out. And then people will be able to respond to those stupid comments with links to the highlights channel saying, okay, Adam learned about this while he was editing and here's what he had to say about it.
But seriously, a dumb plays you berate people for not doing their research, and now you're defending her for not doing her research.
I am not defending her for not doing her research. She's not making a documentary on Autism Speaks. Her film is not about the organization Autism Speaks. What are you talking about? For her to like, once again, I'm going to say, we don't know if it was her as an individual who was like, I know about this great organization called Autism Speaks, and I'm going to ask them for consulting on my movie. We don't know if it was that, or the much more likely scenario of the, like, hundreds of other people around her because she's in a big fucking money industry saying, like, oh, there's a charity. Why don't we get a charity for this because you're talking about autistic people? Or maybe she just literally Google searched autism charity or autism organization and found the first one, and it was irrelevant to the movie she's making. All I'm saying, I'm not saying like, oh yeah, let's defend her for being an idiot. What I'm saying is, it is more likely that she's an idiot than a malicious person. That is what I'm saying, is that I assume ignorance over malice. If she's ignorant, great. That's like, you're describing 99.9% of people on this planet. Closer to 100, right? Great. She's ignorant. So is literally everybody else, right? Don't expect her to be a perfect human being. Don't all of a sudden attribute ignorance as though it's malice and be like, oh, therefore she hates autistic people, or she looks at autistic people as monsters that need to be cured or something like that. I'm willing to give her the benefit of the doubt, is what I'm saying.
I'm waiting for the movie.
Yeah. We'll see what the movie's like. If the movie's completely fucking tone deaf, which it might be, I'm still willing to give her the benefit of the doubt. I'm still willing to assume, like, yeah, she likes autistic people, but she's just kind of stupid and doesn't know how to properly portray that in a film. Which is like most people, right? Imagine the average person. Imagine the average person talking about a marginalized group and making a film about them. Imagine the average person doing that. It's going to turn out worse, right? It's going to turn out much worse. So, like, if you want to criticize her art, if you want to criticize the film itself, fucking great. I'll be there with you, criticizing the fuck out of that movie for being stupid. But don't criticize her as a human being just for being a person that doesn't properly communicate her ideas in a film. Anyway, I'm willing to give her the benefit of the doubt. We'll see if that changes. I'm willing for my opinion to be changed too. I'm willing to completely flip my opinion if the film itself shows something that contradicts what I'm saying right now. Yeah, I don't think autism is an illness at all. Like, I mean, like, I feel fucking autistic, even if I'm not officially diagnosed as autistic. I feel like being neuroatypical is, like, a good thing. Like, you need variety. Variety is a good thing, especially in the human brain. If you're not as good at some things like social skills, but you're like crazy fucking good at like math or computer science or like music, like, then do that, you know, like fulfill the need, you know, like be the person that focuses on what you're good at. And if you're better than everybody else at one thing and not as good at some other things, you know, think of your brain in the same way that you think of like a skill tree in a RPG game where you have all these different skills and you're like, okay, am I going to put all my shit in Dex, or am I going to have like a fairly level, you know, right? Am I going to put all my shit in int? Am I going to put all my shit in strength? Or, you know, like something like literally, like, I'm not even kidding. Like, that's, your brain can only have so much space. You're not going to find a person that's like 100% in every single category. That's not a person that exists. And it seems like there's people out there that are autistic that have super insane abilities in certain categories and not in others. And that's not to say that every autistic person is a genius at some things, you know? There are some autistic people that are stupid. There are some non-autistic people that are stupid, you know? There are some autistic people that are super talented. There are some non-autistic people that are super talented. But there's nothing wrong with, like, being autistic. There really isn't. There really isn't. I like, people are fucking stupid whether or not they're autistic. I think people who aren't autistic, along with people who are autistic, I think most people are fucking retarded. I think most people are just, like, absolutely insane. I think people lie to themselves on a daily basis and are generally just, like, absolutely fucking stupid. So, yeah, there's nothing wrong with autistic people. Yeah. Legit, nothing wrong with autistic people. So I don't think she's a monster. I don't think she deserves to be canceled. Like, you can say, like, oh yeah, if you're willing to describe, like, okay, somebody doesn't have, like, you know, perfect social skills, and you want to flippantly say, like, yeah, they're, like, a little bit autistic. Nothing wrong with that, because that's like a common descriptor of, like, autism is, like, lacking in social skills a bit, or, like, social, like, reading the room a bit. Like, that seems to be, like, a common descriptor. But that's also not, like, a universal descriptor. That's not a qualifying factor. So, I don't know. Yeah, like, I feel autistic so much. Like, I feel like I'm misinterpreted all the time. I feel like I am unaware of social cues a lot of the time. And I was tested at a very young age for autism. Apparently I'm not. But apparently I'm autistic enough that my parents made me take a test. Apparently I'm close enough to autism that my parents sent me to be tested for autism, but not autistic enough to be officially diagnosed as autistic. So we don't know, right? maybe I was incorrectly diagnosed. But I mean, and I remember that test too, and I only found out like 10 years after the fact that it was for autism. I remember doing that shit. I was very young. I was super young. I was between the ages of, I might have been like 4 years old.
Who told you?
Who told me? My parents. I don't remember what the conversation was. There's a lot of really weird, like, super old memories that I have that are, like, really selective. There's memories that I have from when I was, like, 2 years old. It's really weird. You know, whether or not she makes something that's
maybe I should have been tested more than once.
I learned recently that Yandere Dev banned one of his mods for having DID. He thinks it's not real and that it's cringy roleplay. I find it fascinating how deep that man constantly digs his own grave.
What is DID? Dissociative something disorder? What is that?
Dissociative identity disorder.
You know, there aren't that many autistic
really.
Split personality disorder, basically.
I couldn't imagine having something like that. But, I mean, like, it's the human brain, right? Imagine being, like, perfectly willing to accept that there are people on the planet that are sexually attracted to murdering people and raping babies, but not willing to accept that there are people with multiple personalities. Imagine being like, oh yeah, that makes sense, raping and killing babies and murdering people. And then not being like, and then being like, oh, what? Having two personalities? That doesn't make sense. I don't know how that could be possible, but I can understand why someone would want to, like, rape and murder babies.
The guy that got banned by Yandere Dev knew why he was banned, but his other personality didn't know why and tried to get around the ban, assuming it was a mistake.
It's incredibly
Okay, Grand Salamancer, so you're explaining something here that I, like, was totally misreading about what that is. So the other personality doesn't know what's happening when... So it's like literally two different lives at once. That's insane to me. And I'm not saying that that doesn't exist. And I'm not saying that that's not something that's possible in the human brain. But I forgot that that was a thing. So yeah, like the movie Split, basically. I forgot about that part of it. Like literally just like, ugh, that's crazy. That's insane. Yeah. I'm willing to believe that that's a thing that someone can go through. But since I don't go through that myself, I think, I guess I would never know if I did. All right. All right, we're reacting to I Am Autism. Here we go. And you see the OBS thing still?
Do I need any context for this?
I see the video.
Okay. So this is a PSA, a real one.
Okay.
From what year?
Like 4 years ago, it says on the thing. But
I mean, that's
2006,
2008. That
I am
says in the
autism.
Yeah, it wasn't
I'm
that far
visible
away.
in your children, but if I can help it, I am invisible to you until it's too late. I know where you live, and guess what? I live there too. I hover around all of you. I know no color barrier, no religion, no morality, no currency.
The first time I watched this, I
speak
said,
your language fluently, and with every voice I take
feels
away,
like the
I acquire yet another language.
gay agenda shit from the 50s.
I work very quickly. I
It
work
could be
faster than
anyone.
pediatric AIDS, cancer, and
That
diabetes
seemed like a
combined.
horror trailer.
And if you are happily married, I will make sure that your marriage fails. Your money will fall into my hands.
How would you
and
get
I will
married in the
bankrupt
first
you
place?
for my own self-gain. I don't sleep, so I make sure you don't either. I will make it virtually impossible for your family to easily attend a temple, a birthday party, a public park, without a struggle.
Well, that's what your
without
family gets for
embarrassment,
going to
without
temple.
pain. You have no cure for me. Your scientists don't have the resources, and I relish their desperation. Your neighbors are happier to pretend that I don't exist. Of course, until it's their child. I am autism. I have no interest in right or wrong. I derive great pleasure out of your loneliness.
Pleasure.
I will fight to take away your hope. I will plot to rob you of your children and your dreams. I will make sure that every day you wake up, you will cry, wondering who will take care of my child after I die. And the truth is, I am still winning, and you are scared. And
This
you
is
should be.
bleak.
I am autism.
A little dark.
You ignored me. That was a mistake.
I mean, none of it's wrong, but it is bleak.
And to autism I say,
I am a father,
A mother.
a grandparent,
brother.
a sister.
We will spend every waking hour trying to weaken you.
We don't need sleep because we will
What a
not
bummer.
rest
What if I
until
want to do
you
other stuff?
Family can be much stronger than autism ever anticipated, and we will not be intimidated by you, nor will the love and strength of my community.
I am a parent riding towards you, and you can push me off this horse time and time again, but I will get up, climb back on, and ride on with the message.
Autism, you forget who we are.
Did they
You forget who you
did
are
they hire
dealing
child
with.
actors
You
that
forget
looked
the spirit
autistic for?
of mothers and daughters and
Ooh,
fathers
I love
and
that
sons.
casting call.
Or is it real children with autism?
I hope it's the former.
We are coming together in all climates.
We call on all faiths.
We search with technology
And voodoo.
Prayer and
Voodoo and prayer.
Did I
You
hear
never anticipated.
voodoo?
We have had challenges, but we are the best when
Voodoo
overcoming
and
them.
prayer.
We speak the only language that matters, love for our
I
children.
mean,
Our
it's
capacity
as good
to
for
love is
combating
greater than
autism
your
as anything
capacity
else.
to overwhelm.
autism is naive.
You are alone.
We are a community of warriors.
We have a voice.
You think because some of our children cannot speak, we cannot hear them? That is autism's weakness.
You think that because my child lives behind a wall, I am afraid
like
to
not a
knock
bad
it
move
down
by
with my
autism.
bare hands?
You have not properly been introduced to this community of parents and grandparents, of siblings and friends and school teachers, therapists, pediatricians and scientists.
Autism, if you are not scared, you should be.
When you came for my child, you forgot.
You came for me.
Autism, are you listening?
Yeesh. And so what I found out today from Grand Salamancer is that was directed by Alfonso Cuarón, who has an autistic
That's-
son.
Pretty awesome.
What the fuck?
Well, I mean, it's definitely filled with emotion.
Yeah.
Having heard arguments from both sides
I
in
think
that
I
commercial,
was gonna say, I think autism wins.
I feel like autism is going to win, right? We can all
Yeah.
agree.
I think he's got a better case.
Put your money on autism.
Yeah. Like, holy shit, Alfonso.
That was sufficiently dark.
Like, what the
I
hell
would
was that?
rather
man.
be fucking shaken down by a mob boss than talked to by that guy.
Yeah. Like, what? So that was 2009.
Okay.
That was 2009. That wasn't very long ago.
Okay.
Wow.
It wasn't that long ago.
And
like I was, I was 12.
Yeah. So let's break this down for a second. Just like, I will make sure that your marriage fails. I'm literally reading the transcript. This is like legit lines from it. I will make sure that your marriage fails. Your money will fall into my hands, and I will bankrupt you for my own self-gain. What?
I mean, the second two things I understand, but how are you getting married?
I will make it virtually impossible for your family to attend a temple, a birthday party, a public park without a struggle, without embarrassment, without pain.
That one's rough. I don't know what to tell you about that one. That one's straight up rough.
About Alfonso.
Holy shit!
I think,
like, seriously,
I think Alfonso had a day.
I think he must have had a day.
My God,
he had a real day when he made that.
That's absolutely insane. That's legitimately insane.
That's what's the word? There's no words. Sinister.
Autistic. That's literally autistic.
So okay, like, what is this advocating for as an ad, as a PSA?
Autism.
What do we do with this information because of it?
Was it intended?
Well, given who I think wins in this fight, I think the only thing to take from the PSA is for us all to give in and become autistic. Let autism win.
I think it was intended to be some sort of optimistic riposte against autism, but I feel like the decision to personify autism to begin with as the motivated agent isn't a very clever one. I think that was a mistake.
Whew. That was pretty nuts.
Imagine something like that, but like for AIDS or cancer. Like,
I mean, it would make more sense with AIDS or cancer.
I guess. Yeah, probably. But still, it would. That's like, why even go there? You know?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, autism is like a blanket terminology for many different things. So it's weird. It's weird that they would just be like, you can't have an autistic child and love them at the same time, is basically what they were saying. Like, your life sucks right now. You can't have an autistic child and a happy life.
Jesus.
Well.
Also, voodoo?
I liked voodoo. I was
voodoo
not
and prayer.
Voodoo,
Unironically, complete deadpan.
Yep.
Like,
yeah,
not a joke. Voodoo and prayer.
Yeah, I like
Alfonso.
Like
I mean, I guess the placebo effect can help a bit, but still.
Yeah, voodoo is a strong word.
It's a word that not a lot of, I don't know how many people have good associations with that word. You know what I'm saying? Like Americans, maybe? Like, what does an American think when they think of voodoo? You know?
Marianne Williamson voters have good association with voodoo.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's about it.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Man, 2009.
Yeah.
Obama's second year.
He had already made, like, Children of Men.
That was the year that Obama ruined the economy, if my history is correct.
I'd like to imagine, after having this newfound information, that the first draft of Children of Men wasn't that you couldn't have any more children, but that there were only autistic children, and then the last woman who could give birth to a non-autistic child, everybody had to protect, because otherwise the world would be over.
That's
the last the last good-brained child.
Oh, God.
Children of man children.
Oh my God.
And with that, I will set up Fall Guys.
We did it.
All right.
Oh no.
Fuck.
Oh no. I am impressed and disappointed with myself at the same time.
Hey, thanks for watching. My $5 net patrons are I Am Gretty, aka Lemonade Warrior, The Lord Durham, Hoofy Doe, Olivia Spores, Dana, Ocean Machinery, Malav Shah, Brennan Stuper, and Pitt Wang. Be safe out there, guys.